Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rock.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, police hail Christmas operation successful. More than 40 bridges planned for next 3 years. And singers unknown to police despite arrest claims.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
The police force did not rest this festive weekend as they clamped down on opportunists and lawbreakers through Operation Yalunde. Officers were out in numbers to ensure the nation was safe and crime-free. Pranita Prakash reports.
4 pedestrians aged between 3 years to 54 years lost their lives as a result of road accidents in the last 4 days. The total road death toll now stands at 70 compared to 66 last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, for this, the numbers that made the increase, the pedestrians were at fault. Our effort was on the 2 main highways here, but the fatalities recorded was down in the outer skirt, down at Wenibokasi, the Kello Road, and then those from Bonole, Sabu and Tabeuni. And most of these fatalities, the latest one, it seems the pedestrians were at fault.
Contrary to this, ICP Tundravu says there was a decrease in speeding cases.
There was a decrease in speeding on both highways. Can be based on the drivers themselves, they adhere to the speed limit, or because of the coverage that we have done on the main highways.
I'd like to urge our general motorists that we need your support, we need your assistance as far as road rules is concerned.
Meanwhile, 25 people were also arrested for drug-related offences.
Yes, we were combing the farms in November and also in the year, and then during the festive season we get to those peddlers, the outlets that are there already been identified and through the information that we have. So that is why there is a lot of arrest currently being done.
ICP Tundravu says overall the Christmas weekend was quiet and they are anticipating a similar outcome during New Year's this weekend. More police officers are expected to be deployed around the country this weekend as New Year's celebration will be at its peak. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The Fiji Roads Authority plans to replace 40 bridges around the country in the next 3 years. FRA Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says they aim to build more modular steel bridges that will last at least a few decades. Kelly Vadala reports.
About 40 high-priority bridges have been identified by FRA that needs to be replaced with stronger and durable materials.
There's 8 bridges in Vanuatu, and there are 6 bridges in Taveuni, and there are 4 bridges in Overlau as well that are being replaced, as well as bridges along Kings Road, Queens Road, and of course the Lamy Corridor.
FRA also adds it is working closely with bridge suppliers and road consultants on this future plan.
All of our modular steel bridges going forward will be permanent bridges, and we're looking for minimum 60, preferably 80, and potentially 100-year life on each bridge. So there's a large plan around bridges going on right now in the organisation, and we're working with consultants and suppliers.
Many Fijians say some bridges around the country need serious maintenance for the safety of the public at large.
I think having good bridges will lessen the number of accidents on our roads. So yes, there is a need to upgrade all bridges.
More bridges have to update, like Lamy Bridge.
There are bridges in villages that are dangerous to use, and I think those bridges should be worked on because it's important as everyone uses it.
Some bridges are now under construction while some new ones have been built. For example, the new Watuanga Bridge behind me. Meanwhile, FRA is asking the public to be patient with these works as it will definitely ease traffic flow. Kelly Vathala, FBC News.
Police Commissioner Brigadier General Sithiven Ngilio says they are not aware of any reason why the former chair of the Airport Terminal Services Employees Trust, Jaidir Singh, should be arrested. Singh, who resides in Australia, has taken out a statement claiming that he will be arrested the next time he attends the trustees' meeting in Fiji. He further states that this will be done to prevent the real truth from coming out. Singh also amazingly states that he still has some money in Fiji and hopes it will be still available for him to withdraw. Ngilio today questioned who Singh is and what had he done to warrant an arrest. Ngilio also says he wants to know who the arresting authority that Singh is referring to that will carry out the arrest. The police chief says his team has more important national matters to deal with. Meanwhile, while Singh has been called a chair by the striking ATS workers and their union reps, he has signed off the release as former chair of ATSET. Attempts to get comments from Singh proved unsuccessful. His release also appeared on anti-government sites on social media before anywhere else. All hardware companies, accounting firms, medical centres, travel agencies and law firms are now required by law to install and operate an electronic fiscal device by 30th June next year. Fiji Revenue and Customs says these organisations will be part of the Phase 2 implementation of the VAT monitoring system. Chief Executive Viswanath Das says the first phase of the project has been extended to the 28th of February 2018, which will give an additional 2 months for companies to implement the EFD system. Meanwhile, supermarkets in the Central Division, who are part of the first phase, are undergoing live tests, and plans are also in the pipeline to pilot these in the Northern and Western Divisions. The systems will reduce revenue leakages and will encourage voluntary compliance at the same time. Taxpayers can now verify their EFD receipts by downloading the free FRCS Receipt Verificator app, which is currently only available on Play Store. Still to come, we take a look back at the first 4 months of 2017. An FBC street party to cater for all walks of life. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and ndo moi viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo sekolah untuk tali tak na radio festival kena domili.
Yang kuya do silir tali, nagura ramai na omani, nandunga. Gitu tali tak jadi yang gitu kena sebalik pun nanggu dorong, barong na radio Fiji 1 nandumai biti.
Na radio Fiji 1 nandumai biti na ponga ni BNN.
With only 4 days to go before we welcome 2018, we take a look at some of the top stories that gained a lot of attention in the first 4 months this year. Akusita Tale with highlights from January to April.
The year began with kids going back to school, but it was parents that were more happy after the government issued a directive to all government schools not to collect PTA levies. Former Education Minister Mahendra Reddy said the collection of such levies was only allowed to private schools, which paid their own teachers. Meanwhile, in what could have been the harshest sentence in recent times, the Suva High Court jailed 2 Wainimbuka men for almost 20 years for growing marijuana. Waisake Kalolia was sentenced for 19 years, while Kaminieli Nangeletha was jailed for 18 years for cultivating more than 160 kilograms of marijuana with a street value of more than $1.5 million. And still in court, former police officer Michael Chalendra Pratap is spending the next 12 years and 11 months in prison for raping a 14-year-old student last year. Pratap, who was sentenced in January, was convicted for 3 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. The 42-year-old former police officer dragged the victim to the old police gym in Suva, where he raped her. Earlier in February, a so-called Iranian refugee and former Manus Island detainee who fled from PNG was deported back to PNG. And later in the month, the Fiji military forces received 10 armoured personnel carriers from Australia to ensure the safety of our peacekeepers in the Golan Heights. This was the first time the military received such vehicles to beef up their security measures. In March, Airports Fiji Limited confirmed the extension of the Nausori International Airport that will take place next year. This is to accommodate larger passenger carriers from overseas. Meanwhile, Parliament also unanimously passed the Land Transport Authority Amendment Bill to allow drivers to pay their traffic fines in 90 days. This move was done given the numerous complaints from motorists. The Health Ministry also called for the need to have at least 5,000 registered nurses to meet the healthcare need in hospitals and health centers. Akusita Tali, FBC News.
A large number of people are expected at this year's Fiji Broadcasting Corporation's New Year's 3112 Bash. Today FM program director Mario Fasala says they will be hosting a New Year's Bash for people in Suva, while people in the Western Division will get to experience a similar event hosted by Mirchi FM and Bull FM on Sunday.
It's a family-oriented get-together, and also the chance for you to just sit back, relax, and say goodbye to 2017 in style. Like I said, there's food, there's rides, and it's also an alcohol-free event, so it's a perfect time for you and the friends, also with the family, to just get together and check out some live entertainment as well. And also, like we said, bring in the new year with style as well.
While we in Fiji spent the Boxing Day holiday with family and at picnic spots, it was a different scenario in New Zealand. This as hundreds and thousands of Kiwis flocked to the Boxing Day sales, with spending expected to have been at an all-time high. For the past 3 decades, Ed Curry has the brains behind some of the world's hottest chilies. He's responsible for creating the Carolina Reaper, which is nothing short of a torture, but it hasn't stopped some people from traveling around the world to give it a go. Ahead in sports with Jamie, he will have more on the Ashes cricket, but we now join Akusita Tale for the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening. Coming up, market surveillance to continue in New Year. And in growing Fiji, new bridge for Livuka. Stay with us.
Moala ragava ranavika au tikongona tau na singatoka ando talitaka na vakaronga na Bull FM number 2 na serre
ya dora subuli kurnambili iborani batukara hambara binaranga do talitakina na vakaronga na Bull FM number 2 na serre
Bull FM number 2 na serre.
Leading business joint market surveillance by the Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission and other stakeholders will continue into next year to ensure that retailers are complying with regulations. According to the Commission, while a majority are following the requirements under the Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission Act of 2010, 18% of the retailers are still not complying. Chief Executive Joel Abraham says most have not displayed the price of the items for sale.
There are few unethical elements that continually breach, and they need to be taken to task. So what we are trying to do is, we are trying to, by the process of going and taking surveillance exercises, by undertaking market inspections, we are trying to identify who are these people that are continuously breaching.
We now join Sharon from HFC Bank with the latest from the trading world.
Thank you. Let's review the action on the South Pacific Stock Exchange last week. Despite the festive season setting in, trading remained active on the exchange. 353,904 shares changed hands in 91 transactions. Total consideration amounted to $635,922. Looking at the share price movements, there were some solid gainers. Communications Fiji Limited shares increased by 7.59% and concluded at a new all-time high of $4.68. Fiji Care Insurance shares rose 10.48% to end at an all-time high price of $1.16. FMF shares increased 9.52% to close at $1.15, and Vision Investment shares rose to a new all-time high of $2.80 after seeing an increase of 0.72%. Freebird Institute shares were up 0.4% to end the week at a new maximum value of $2.50. On the other hand, ITH and Fiji TV shares recorded marginal price falls. Last week, the overall market capitalization rose by 0.84% and concluded the week at a new maximum value of $1.79 billion. And that's the wrap from our local stock market. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Now looking at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. The Fiji dollar rose against most currencies but slid slightly against Australia, New Zealand and Japan. As for the commodities market, oil prices rose to $59.78 a barrel, gold climbed to $1,282 per ounce, and silver was also up to end at 16.53 an ounce. In growing Fiji, its anticipated construction of the new market bridge in Levuka will be completed by March next year if weather permits. Fiji Roads Authority Acting General Manager Capital Works Tarun Bala says the foundation and substructure are complete. He says the remaining work includes the construction of the concrete superstructure, road approaches and installation of bridge furniture. And that's business this evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Akasita, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Pio Sethi a step closer to NRL dream, and Fiji baseball to send age grade team to international meet. Details after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टकता हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
Fiji Mbati rep Pio Sethi is a step closer to his ambition of playing in the NRL. Sethi, who was one of 2 local-based players in the 2017 Rugby League World Cup squad, has signed with the Ipswich Jets, a feeder club for the Brisbane Broncos. Luciana Tangidakimbao with the details.
It has been a dream come true for the Nambour Broncos winger, Pio Sethi, to play rugby league overseas. Pio says that this contract is a step towards playing in the NRL.
Just a club in Brisbane, Ipswich Jets. Yeah, it was a good feeling when they came up to me and on Facebook and asked me if I wanted a contract with them, and because I played for Nambour Broncos here, so they're a feeder club for Brisbane Broncos over in Australia. So I thought it would be a good chance for me to hopefully get a chance up in the big leagues for Broncos.
Sethi says the task will only be tough and he will have to prove himself.
My talent and show them yeah, what we're made of, Fijians, and hopefully I'll get a chance to get a contract with them.
Meanwhile, his teammate Tevi Tangodake says Sethi has worked hard to reach this far.
I can say is that Pio Sethi deserves this opportunity. He's been working tirelessly, doing extra yards. You can see from throughout the team members in the Nambour team. He's the one that's always doing the hard work, going the extra mile.
Pio Sethi was one of the local players that represented the Fiji party in the Rugby League World Cup. He is expected to leave the country next month. Luciana Tangidakimbao, FBC Sports.
The future of Fiji baseball is looking bright with its development programs coming to fruition. Fiji will be represented at an age-grade international meet abroad for the first time when the national under-15 side competes at the Oceania Baseball Challenge in New Zealand next month. Eroni Tuinuku reports.
It's a beginning of a new era for baseball in the country as the sports wait for an exciting 2018.
Compared to the national team that started baseball back in 2000, and the boys now at the age of 14, 13 and 15 years old, their knowledge and the skill level has developed compared to when we, the senior players, started playing baseball.
The team management are focusing on expanding the sport in the country and attract more players.
This is the first time Fiji is sending an under-15 team to go and compete at the Oceania Championship. So this is the beginning of tournaments that Fiji will be sending under-12s, under-15s and under-18s. Every year we've got an Oceania Championship.
15-year-old Jacob Rangiu aims to become the first ever Fijian professional player.
I've been playing baseball 5 years.
and I've learned so much things.
The national under-15s team will be part of the Oceania Championship against Guam, New Caledonia, Australia and New Zealand. They will leave the country on the last week of next month. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
Fiji AFL is hoping for an influx of players and supporters next year as it prepares for more international meets. The sporting body that was set up 8 years ago has seen a lot of growth from its development programs in the country and the South Pacific. Fiji AFL Development Officer Simon Highfield says AFL is $1 million sport in Australia and he believes Fijians are capable of becoming the best in the game.
That South Pacific squad will then go across to Australia sometime next year to play in the Queensland State Academy, and if you're good enough in that academy then you'll go on to represent Queensland. We'll start up again next year, so we'll have a senior competition again next year and sort of look at our development pathway through to the 2020 Senior World Cup.
On to Ashes cricket. The second day of the fourth test continues in Melbourne. Yesterday, as day one started, David Warner scored a dramatic century at the MCG before ever-consistent skipper Steve Smith took over to put Australia in a strong position in the fourth test. New Zealand's NBA star Steve Adams put on a strong showing to help the Oklahoma City Thunder to a win over the Houston Rockets on Christmas Day in the U.S. yesterday. Adams recording his 11th double-double of the season as the Thunder toppled the Rockets 112-107. That's it from sports tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather and in new media right after the break. A look at some of the biggest moments on social media this year. That's coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and domoy viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kami na sa mga kola, ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina domoy viti.
Kaya ko sila tali, nagurara may naomani, nandunga. Gitu talita kini ang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na domoy viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na domoy viti na ponga ni BNN.
In new media, we look at what was hot this year from Facebook to Instagram, Snapchat to YouTube. These are the moments that made waves in 2017. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Hope your long weekend was amazing. Well, the weather was in favor, so yeah, no complaints. Let's see what the conditions were like today. In the west, it was mostly clear. For those that are still on holiday, it's the perfect time. Eastwards, from Peck Harbour to Suva, the sun was out but later turned to gloomy skies. And up north, it was pretty clear as well with, of course, humidity. For the tides, high tide tomorrow morning will be at 2:42 with low tide at 8:35. Sunrise will be at 6:31. For tomorrow, expect a beautiful sunny day again. Now, who says you can't go for a picnic on a Thursday? Well, hint, hint. Tomorrow stands, the west will be hot with highs of 31 degrees. And looking further on to Friday, much the same, clear spells are likely. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse today, we asked, what are your plans for New Year?
I look forward to drinking, eating and spending time with my family.
Well, we're just going to work through the new year. So we're just going to have a feast at work.
My new year will celebrate with my family and the friends.
I'm just going to come and practice. If there are any plans at home, I'm going to stay at home, do it. But right now, I'm just going to practice. Yeah. Having some time with my family, spending the new year with them.
Recapping the main stories, police hail Christmas operation successful. More than 40 bridges planned for next 3 years, and Singh is unknown to police despite arrest claims. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, should there be harsher penalties for people involved in temple sacrilege? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day comes from the north. Sailasa and Delai captured this in the beautiful surroundings of Korodao in Dakaundrove. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Bye for now.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and domoy viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Utiko minasong utikola, ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 kina domoy viti.
Kaya kuyaga sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tajiri ang gitu Venezuela, nagundurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 nandomoy viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nandomoy viti na honga ni BNN.